Hey everyone! Today in this explainer, we're diving into one of the absolute biggest mysteries of human life. Seriously, why do some people effortlessly rise to incredible success, while others, who are seemingly just as capable, stay stuck or completely fail? It's a question that has literally baffled humanity for centuries. Are successful people just lucky? Are they born with some special gene? Or is there a specific, learnable mechanism at play here? And on the flip side, is there a hidden poison that quietly destroys our potential? Well, we're going to break down the exact anatomy of success and failure today, and I promise you, the answers are going to challenge everything you thought you knew about hard work. Okay, let's step back in time for a second to really get into this. Picture this. You are meeting a man who single-handedly produced 33% of all the steel in the United States. His name? Andrew Carnegie, an absolute titan of industry and one of the wealthiest men in human history. Now, Carnegie crossed paths with a young, super ambitious journalist named Napoleon Hill. And Carnegie didn't just give Hill a standard interview. He offered him an assignment that would literally change history. He told Hill, look, I'm successful, and my entire circle of friends is successful. I'm going to give you letters of introduction to hundreds of the most prosperous people in the world. Go interview them. Find out their secret mechanism. But there was a massive catch. Carnegie looked him dead in the eye and said, there is zero salary for this. You do this out of pure passion or not at all. Hill accepted, and that one decision kicked off the most comprehensive study of success ever conducted. Now, before Hill even started his research, Carnegie dropped a massive truth bomb. He explained that success actually operates a lot like physics. Think about it. Just as electrons move in very specific energy orbits, human beings operate in life orbits based on their energy. If you're in the orbit of success, you're naturally surrounded by successful peers. Unsuccessful people simply cannot survive in this orbit. They either level up to match it or they get repelled right out of it. Why? Because of energy. You can be a highly skilled, fundamentally great person, but if you're lugging around this heavy negative energy, you are actively pushing success away. You literally repel the very things you're trying so hard to attract. All right, moving right along to section 1, diagnosing negative energy. We kind of need to do a quick self-check here. A lot of times we think of negative people as inherently bad people, but that's a huge misconception. Seriously, so many incredibly talented individuals unconsciously radiate an energy that totally blocks their own progress. So let's run a quick diagnostic test to see if we or the people around us are accidentally broadcasting that exact energy. First off, listen to how a person talks. If it's just nonstop complaining, they are definitely in a negative orbit. Second, that dangerous why me mentality. Playing the victim is a massive energy drain. Third, being overly judgmental and just making bad assumptions about everyone else. Fourth is unchecked ego. And fifth, the absolute inability to accept feedback. Someone with negative energy treats a simple correction like a personal attack. That kind of unchecked ego doesn't just stall a career, it actively burns through the precious energy you need to actually fuel your success. Which naturally leads us to section 2, work versus worry. So if negative energy repels success, how do we actually build it? To figure that out, let's look at Napoleon Hill's timeline. He didn't just do a couple of quick podcast-style chats. No, he spent over 2 decades, more than 20 years, meticulously interviewing the absolute titans of his era. We're talking about giants like Thomas Edison, a guy who held a mind-blowing 1,249 patents, and the founders of massive global companies. Hill dissected their mindsets, their habits, the whole shebang. And eventually, this monumental research became the book Think and Grow Rich, which pretty much birthed the modern personal development industry. The credibility behind this research is just immense, which makes his core conclusion incredibly shocking. Out of everything in that massive book, I want you to zero in on this one single powerful conclusion. Hill looked at thousands of people who broke down, failed, or just gave up, and he realized a profound truth. People aren't killed by hard work. They are killed by worry. Read that again. When we see someone totally exhausted and defeated by life, we almost always assume they just worked too hard. But Hill found that physical exhaustion isn't the real enemy. The actual killer of dreams, energy, and human potential, it's mental burnout, caused by relentless worry. Now, we really need to define what we mean here, because worry isn't just a fleeting feeling of butterflies in your stomach. It is a deeply destructive state of mind. At its absolute core, worry is characterized by a complete and total lack of trust. When you're consumed by worry, you lose faith in your own abilities, you lose faith in the natural order of the universe, and fundamentally, you lose faith in a higher power's mercy and providence. Because that trust has completely collapsed, your mind just goes into overdrive. It spirals down paths it shouldn't go, overthinking wildly unlikely scenarios. It's exactly like a gardener obsessively watering a field that is already flooded. It is just a complete waste of human energy. That brings us to section 3, the 98% illusion. So if worry is this incredibly destructive force driven by the fear of the unknown, how do we actually escape it? Well, we have to look at the cold, hard facts. When we look at Dale Carnegie's research, there's this massive 98% slice of the data that is absolutely eye-opening. He concluded that 98% of the things we constantly stress over, our worst-case scenarios, our what-ifs, literally never happen. They are entirely fictional illusions created by our own anxious minds. Only a tiny little 2% of our worries ever actually materialize into reality. Just think about the sheer volume of mental energy, creativity, and joy we waste battling ghosts in our heads that will never even exist in the real world. This honestly brings us to a beautifully simple formula for life. If you're going through this explainer right now, you're probably studying, striving, working hard at your job, or maybe trying to build a business. Here's the deal. If your intentions are pure and you are genuinely putting in the daily struggle, your future is going to be bright. Good intentions paired with genuine, honest effort inherently lead to a good future. You absolutely do not need to fear the uncertainty of tomorrow if your actions today are rooted in honesty and hard work. But wait, what about the environment? You hear it all the time, right? There are no opportunities here, the economy is a disaster, the system is totally broken. Actually, scratch that. Let's completely debunk that myth right now. By definition, wherever you find the highest volume of problems, you also find the highest volume of opportunities. Every broken system, every struggling industry out there is absolutely desperate for quality people. The truth is, highly skilled, positive-minded individuals are incredibly rare. If you can be the person who solves problems instead of just complaining about them, there are massive vacuums waiting for you to step right in and thrive. All right, section 4, focus on your work. Knowing all this is great, but we need a practical, everyday strategy. How do we actually stop this paralyzing cycle of worry on a daily basis and build that successful future? It all comes down to where you draw the boundaries of your attention. You absolutely have to understand the difference between your circle of work and your circle of worry. Your circle of work contains everything you can actually influence: your daily tasks, your attitude, your effort, your willingness to learn. Your circle of worry, that contains the uncontrollable future, the global economy, what other people think about you, outcomes you just cannot force. The secret to success is to strictly, ruthlessly confine your daily energy to your circle of work. Put your head down, give your absolute best to what's right in front of you today, and completely ignore the circle of worry. Do your part and trust the process for the rest. To actually put this into practice, there's this really beautiful, deeply comforting routine inspired by a Sufi dervish, and it's just 3 simple steps. Step 1. Every single night before you go to bed, consciously surrender your worries. Acknowledge that you're human, you have limits, and you cannot control the universe. Hand those heavy burdens over to God, or whatever higher power you trust in. Step 2. With those burdens officially lifted off your shoulders, allow yourself to sleep as peacefully as a child. Give your mind a total rest. And Step 3. Wake up the next morning and just crush it. Work relentlessly. Give 100% of your focus to the tasks in front of you without taking a single step backward into worry. And that brings us to our final thought for today. The mechanism of success is sitting right in front of you. It is all about maintaining a positive energy orbit, trusting the process, and pouring yourself completely into your daily work. The poison of worry? That's entirely optional. You know now that 98% of it is a complete and total illusion. So as we wrap up this explainer, you're left with a very simple but profound choice. Are you going to keep carrying around that exhausting, completely fictional burden of worry? Or are you going to drop it right now and step into the powerful, forward-moving freedom of your work?